Good evening and welcome to the Tuesday, March 24th, 2015 regular meeting of the Clay Township Board. We will call the meeting to order at 6:18. And Paul, can you lead us in the pledge, please?
Certainly. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda is approval of our February 24th minutes.
Mr. Chairman, in light of the fact that Mrs. Eckert is not here, and compounded by the fact that I was not at the February 24th meeting, I cannot vote. I would have to abstain. So I would move to remove the approval of minutes from our agenda and move it to a future date for approval.
I second that motion. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do we have any comments from the public? Hearing none, we'll move on to action items. Action item A.
Mr. Chairman, I would also move to remove the action item from our agenda tonight to be discussed at a later date.
I will second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Hearing no discussion, that will also be stricken. Information items, fire construction project update.
Yeah, I talked to the architect and our CM both today about tonight, and they had nothing more than what they were here last month in February. They didn't have anything more to add as of this date. The only thing they would tell me was that they are working on the bid documents, and they're looking at taking it out to bid on May 4th, or somewhere around May, or approximately around May 4th. So that's where it stands right now. I was told by Kevin, the architect, Cooper, said that the building of Station 44, he says it probably will take about a year to actually build. I know the fire department's doing some other things as far as finding some locations for us to put the equipment and the firefighters during the renovation of 43s and the rebuilding of 44s. So that's that kind of stuff. Behind the scenes stuff is moving right along. But as far as the architects, they're just waiting to see, until May 4th. At this time, that's what they thought approximately.
Okay.
In my line of work, I've got many clients that some legislation in our state house right now regarding common wage is affecting the decisions of many of my clients that are using local funds. Our fire department using 100% local funds. I have had plenty of correspondence with state senators and state legislators alike. I would say it is leaning towards passing the common wage law, which the bureaucrats think and have gotten the bill passed, that they're touting lots of savings with it. Also in conversation, though, there is no way around realizing the possible savings without delaying a notice to proceed for construction until July 1st. What I do not know and have not gotten a solid answer on is if a project can still be let or bid beforehand with the expectation that they are bidding it for the passing of the law. Now, by the time May 4th rolls around, the bill will have been passed or discarded. If it's passed, though, it would raise the question, do we wait to start construction until July 1st to realize any of the possible savings that this bill is supposed to have?
Or are we bound to whatever wage rates are in effect at the time of letting contracts.
Correct. And I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. Now, and I will say, too, one of the things that we're kind of on a timeline, too, is because once we go to do the bonding, we got a certain amount of time that it has to be through completion or to where we can move in. So that's another thing. Now, I haven't talked to Angie, our financial person yet, but I have a call into them to see what kind of conflict this might cause us if we do delay it. So that, we need to keep on top of that too.
So there could be a situation where if we delay to save on the wage rates, we could potentially get stuck with a less favorable bond rate depending on financial timing, right?
Right.
Okay, so we have to continue to rely on Crow and others to help us decide, right?
Right. So it's one of those things that, but it was good that the architect told me today, he says, Doug, we can build this in a year. Okay, so he's pretty solid about that, Kevin was. So we can do that in a year. So if we get the bonding in, let's say, August, okay, but they are talking a lot about July. And so, but if they start July ready to go on July 1st, then 12 months, we need to be in it. So we'll see.
Well, we're going to need to rely on your knowledge and input on this because this is what you do, and hopefully the timing will work out best for everybody.
I think so. Doug, so that's just something we'll just continue to follow.
Right.
And along the lines, would you mind extending an invitation to the new fire chief to introduce himself to us?
Yeah, and I will. And actually, I was going to have him come tonight, him and the EMS chief, because they've got something that they're doing very neat that the community needs to know about. But they didn't want it to go out now. They're not ready to present it yet. But yes, I will. Dave Hobbush is the new fire chief. Took effect, 2 weeks ago, I think it is. But Dave will do a fine job. And he was the captain out at Station 42 out there at 106 in Shelburne. He's been assistant chief before, and Dave is very community-minded individual. And yes, at our next meeting in May, we don't have a meeting in April, but our next meeting will be in May. So he will be here along with the EMS chief to talk about the subject I wanted him to talk about tonight, but they can't do that right now.
Any financial questions from the board?
None.
None?
And let me add something for you on that too. When you guys get your packets, if you, I just wanted to make you aware of this. In our general fund, it's usually negative right after the first of the year. Well, because we give out the $250,000 in grants. That drops down until we basically get our tax draw. I mean, we get code put in there, but we also, when we get into May and June, we get our tax draw, and that will balance out. But, spending a third of your budget right off the bat the first of the year and not receiving your tax draw until May and June. But if you ever see that saying negative, what's this all about? We have money in the bank, but we don't have it in that fund until, that usually is June, July, or May and June. I just want to make you aware of that so I don't put the fear of anybody.
Okay.
Any comments, Paul?
I don't. Mary is out of town and was unable to meet our meeting tonight.
Any announcements?
I got a couple things real quick for you. One is our income, our poverty income guidelines that we use countywide. We use 120% of the poverty level. So I'm going to give you the new sheets. So if you ever get questions from the public or anything, you have a general idea of what it's broken down. It's broken out, and this is countywide. We use 120%. It's broken out by monthly income and annual income. Okay, that's just some information for you. You probably don't have it. You can always have them call our office if they have a question about it. That's one thing. And the other thing is I don't know if any of you watched the council meeting a week ago, Monday. There's throughout the county, they're working on a fire training up there on River Road. They're working on a large-scale training facility. And they've asked Westfield, Noblesville, Fishers, and Carmel all to, the county won't go along with it unless all 4 of the governmental entities that I just mentioned go along with it. And I will tell you that I did go to the council meeting, Carmel City Council meeting, and I was adamant that they need to do this. This is something that we've been needed for ever since I was on the department back in '73, and the state drags their feet. Now, there is a House Bill 1182 that's out there that they're putting together a criteria that you have to, the training you have to have. But it's not the physical training, it's not the actual hands-on stuff. And what I talked to the fire marshal, Jim Greason, and he said, Doug, he said they're looking at local government, local people to have the facilities to do that. So that's why this is important, and that's why I went to the meeting. However, what I want you folks to know is, I told the city that I'd be willing to take this to the board for our fire contract, is we would pay $20,000 of it. I'd split it with them, but I have to take it to you folks when we do our fire contract on whether they'll do it. They went ahead and did the $40,000, okay? And when we get to our fire contract down the road here, I don't want any surprises. I would just want to lay it out that that's through the $20,000 additional that I'd like to give to the city for our part on this project, because I think it's that's valuable. It's invaluable as far as I'm concerned to do this project, because the thing that we're building over here at the 106 and Gray is a smaller scale. It's more of a lot more classroom, stuff, and some of the smaller stuff. They're going to have a maintenance facility there. And what I think is really neat about this is, with this maintenance facility, like the maintenance chief told me, he says they will be able to bring the trucks over there, do some training while they're there, and if he needs to work on a truck, he can work on the truck while they're in training. So they're not out of service for a very short time. And so, this down here is nothing compared to what we're talking about up there on Gray Road, or on River Road. This is this is just more of something that the city can use, fire department. I even say Public Works can use it. I mean, as time goes by here, we're needing to work more and more with Public Works, the streets, the utilities. We had a collapse up in the Westfield area, where the Westfield and Carmel both brought their vacuum truck up to help suck the dirt and sand away from the guy that was trapped. So, this day and age, you never know what's going to happen out there and what equipment you might need. And so I'm always looking at the safety of the community by what the people in those public safety and public works departments do for the community. So, but I didn't want to throw something out there and you guys not know about it. Say, hey, you didn't tell us about this. Well, I'm giving you a heads up, so when the fire contract comes along, you'll know what the $20,000 is that I stick in there. Now, it doesn't mean you have to approve it, which the city knows. You guys, can say, no, we're not going to do it, but I just want to give you a heads up. Okay?
Very good.
That's it for me. And no April meeting.
Motion for adjournment.
I move for adjournment.
I will second at 6:34. We are adjourned.
Thank you, Matt.